Here's a massive secret for marketing or any kind of persuasion. So this works whether you're trying to sell a product, if you're writing an ad, if you're writing a sales page, or if you're trying to get somebody to like you, if you're trying to make a friend, if you're trying to fall in love, if you're trying to get a wife. You know, it's all the same thing. It's all just different manifestations of persuasion. And so here's the secret. The more somebody invests in something, the more they value it, the more they see it as worthwhile. So think about that in your own life. What have you, is there something that you've put a lot of time and effort into getting? Well, the fact of putting that time and effort, I mean, it works two ways, right? Because you're not going to put time and effort into something unless it's worth doing, right? So the value has to be there in order for you to put the effort in the first place. But it also works in the reverse, that once you put effort into something, you back rationalize to yourself that, oh, that thing must have been very valuable because I put effort into it. Now, couple this with something called the foot in the door effect. And sorry, I'm a little out of breath, I just got out of the gym. Foot in the door effect is where if you show some little bit of investment into something, then you're likely to show more investment into something. So the classic experiment that demonstrated this, a classic psychology experiment, was that they went around and asked people, they knocked on people's doors and asked them to put a sign or like a sticker on their window, like a tiny little sticker on their window, and asked them if it was a sticker that says like, be careful about safe driving or something like that. And they basically, people were likely to agree to it because it was small, it was hard to see, it didn't really mess up the look of their house very much. Now, they tried to do the same thing with this big ugly yard sign that said the same thing. It said like, be serious about driver safety or whatever generic slogan. And it was something about driver safety. And so they asked people to put that in their front lawn, and people generally said no, because it was too much of an ask, right? It was too ugly, it was too big, it was too intrusive of their lifestyle, and so people were more likely to say no. However, when they went back and asked the people who had already put the little sticker in their window, they asked those people if they would put the sign in their yard, and a lot of those people said yes. They said, yes, I will put the sign in my yard. What happened was that the person, because they had already agreed to the small thing, they had put some investment into it, and they had created an image in their own minds that they were somebody who was concerned with driver safety, and because of that, they were willing to do a much bigger and more intrusive thing that was in line with the identity that they had already created for themselves. Now, similar story. This another classic. Benjamin Franklin had a guy in Congress that was kind of his political opponent, and he wanted to make nice with the guy. He wanted to be friends with the guy. And so he knew that the guy had an interest in botany, that is, in studying plants, and he had a book on botany, and Benjamin Franklin asked the guy if he could borrow the book. Now, borrowing a book is not a very big ask. He probably wasn't reading it anyway, and the guy agreed. And then so a week later, he returned the book, and then from then on, they became friends. Now, it's the same thing. He asked for a small investment, and because of the guy's small investment, the guy back rationalized that, hey, this Ben Franklin guy, he isn't so bad. Maybe I kind of like him, right? Why would I have done this small favor for him if I didn't like the guy? So this is applicable to anything, right? It's applicable to making friends. It's applicable to selling. If you want to sell something, let's say you want to sell something big, well, if you can sell something small first, then you're much more likely to sell the big thing, right? And you don't even have to sell something on the front end, just ask for some kind of investment. Investment could be, give me your contact information. It could be spend 5 minutes watching a free video, right? You're 4.5 minutes into this video right now, so that's 4.5 minutes worth of investment into me. And so would you have spent 4.5 minutes if it wasn't worth it? Well, maybe so, maybe not, but you're probably, if you're like most people, you're not going to admit that you just wasted 4.5 minutes, because that would be embarrassing to your ego, and hopefully it wasn't a waste. I mean, let's be honest, like, hopefully this video is valuable. I'm trying to make it valuable. But the point is, if you spend time on something, if you invest money on something, it's the same concept, you're going to feel that that thing was worth it. And so whenever you are trying to sell something big, sell something small first. Get a small level of investment, and then get a larger level investment. So it could be just a little bit of time. It could be just their contact information in return for a free lead magnet. Then you sell them something small. As their investment grows, their perception of your value, or the value of what you offer, grows. So eventually they're willing to buy the big thing from you. So give that a try. Use that in whatever area of your life is important to you. Let me know how it works.